Hi, welcome to week 6 of our sign language class. This week we're going to do colors and numbers, and we're going to start with our numbers first. If you go off of your handouts, you have 0 through 100 to start with, and so we'll just get started there. So we've got 0, and you can hold it however your arm feels comfortable. I typically just do like 0, all right, and then 1. A little bit closer. 1, 2, 3. Now we do 3 instead of 3 because this would be a W. So that's why we have to do 3. 4, 5. And like I've always said, remember that your palm is pointing out. Not always. There are some numbers where the palm is facing you. So, but for the first 5, it's facing the person you're speaking to. So since we in America use just one hand to sign and do the motions, there's other signs that you do use 2 hands. But with our numbers and our letters, we do with just one hand. So once we get to 5, we got to figure something else out. So you start touching the fingertips to the thumb. So for 6, you are touching the pinky to the thumb. So you have 6. 7 is the ring finger to the thumb. 8 is the middle finger touching the thumb. And then 9 is the index finger touching the thumb. All right, so once you get through with there, you got to figure out something else to do. So 10 is like this. So what you're doing is you're doing like an A with your thumb up. And instead of your palm facing, your knuckles are facing the person. And you just shake it. Like just kind of wiggle it. 10, 10, 10. So then after 10, when you get 11 through 15, yes, you have the back of your hand facing the person instead. So what you're going to do is you've got a fist, right? And it's like the number's going to kind of pop up at the person. So you've got 11. Just one time is 11. 11. And if you do it multiple times, it's not really meaning anything except you're going 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. So what you're doing is you're taking your index finger and you're flicking it off of your thumb. And it really doesn't matter like where you do it off of, just as long as it's popping up. 11. 12 is the same except you've got 2 that are popping up. So 12. All right, so you no longer pop the fingers up because now you have to use your thumb because you've got a 3 for 13. And what you're doing is you're taking, and you put your 2 fingers together and you go up and down. So 13, 13, 13, okay? $14 is the number 4, but it's turned towards you. So the back of the hand is facing the person you're speaking to, and you're pulling them all towards you, all the fingers. 14, 14. Same with 15, except now your thumb is out because you've got a 5 with your fingers together, and you're doing 15. Now, 16 through 19 is different. So it's like you've got like every 5, you wind up changing and doing something different. That's a really neat thing about sign language. So there's different ways you can do 16. You can do a 10 and flick out a 6. Okay, so you're doing 2 different things, 10 to 6. How I do it is I just do 16. So it's like a 6, and you're just swinging it out. So there's 2 different ways you can do it, and either one is right. It's kind of like, do you say gonna or do you say going to? Do you say potato? Do you say patata? It's that kind of thing. It's either one is right. Just depends on which one you're more comfortable doing. So it's the same with 17. Start with your 10, you go out for a 7. 17. And this is how it shows you, if you have my handouts, it shows you the 10 and then going to a 7. Same with an 8. You're doing the 10 to an 8 for 18. 19 is a 10 to a 9. And that's where it ends. Then you got another 5 that are going to be different. So you've got 20. So just like we did no, remember we've done no, now you just do with your index It's almost like you've got little tweezers. It's like your letter G, but you're just pointing it towards the person, and it's 20. 20. All right, now 21 is a little different. There's different ways you can do it, and all of them are correct. So you can do 2 and 1, 21. How I learned was 21. I've had children in my sign language classes before, and I prefer to not show them that for 21 because I don't want them going to school and getting in trouble for that. There's one other way with this hand shape to do 21, and that is to shake it. And you can even do it this way and shake it. I mean, there's just all different ways to do 21. But like I said, I really try not, I don't show that to the kids, so I've just done 21 with them just to avoid the whole gun thing that's going on in our world. So then 22, when you have two numbers together, you do 22. You kind of tap them. Sometimes you can just go like this, either way. This is how I learned. It holds your arm steady, and you're just moving your wrist. 22, 22. So anytime you have two numbers together, 22, 33, 44, you're going to use the number and tap it. Okay? So 22, 23, these are all pretty simple. 23, let me show it down here, 23, 24, 25. There is another way to do 25. You just hold your hand out with a 5, and you are moving your middle finger forward. 25. And I've referred to that before and said you use your 25 hand to do like feel, gold, California, you're using that 25 hand. So 25, 25, either one. All right, 26. Now some different ones will even do like the 21 and 6. And I'm going to double check our handout to see, they might do the 26, but we're going to stick to 26. So anyways, just to kind of, if any children are watching, that would be the better way to do it. So then you just 27, 28, 29, and then 30. 30. Okay, so it's exactly the same with all of your numbers all the way through. It goes the same way. So you've got 31, 32, 33, there's your same, or you can do 33. Either one is right. I prefer to do 33 just because that's how I was taught and that's what I remember using, so it's just a habit that I've learned. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, let me bring a little closer, 36, 37, 38, 39, and then 40. And it's the same thing, 41, 42, 43, and on, 44. All right, so then we'll jump to 55, 55, 66, or 66, either one, 77, 88, 99. Okay, so you get the idea of how it will go. It's just like counting. You know, once you learn how to get to 30, you know how to do all the rest. So once you get to 99, then there's 100, and people would think 100. Sign language follows Roman numerals, so you've got a 1 instead of 0. You've got 1 and a C. So you kind of pull it back. 100, 1. So you're just pulling that back just a little bit, a 1 and a C. All right, and so if you've got like 125, you've got 125. You could probably even do 125. You probably could even do that. Once you get to 1,000, all right, there are different ways you can do it. I was taught to just go this way. You remember how we did again? You scoop it up, put it on your hand, again. All right, well, with 1,000 instead, you're just going straight down. Sometimes, I've seen some do 1,000 like this. I do it like this. We were taught because we were doing signing exact English, so we were initializing the beginning of words to help the kids to understand how to spell it easier. So we would use a T and do 1,000. So that way is correct. But how I typically do is just 1,000. Okay, so then when you have a million, that's the next one, you then do the next. So if you have 1,000, now let's say you have 1 million, you're going to do 1 and bump it twice. Okay, so you can do 1 and here and here. All right, then if you have billion, you're going to do it 3 times. So 1 billion. Okay, so we got 1,000, million, and then you have billion. Now, you can also see sometimes people will use an M and do that for 1,000, and then they will do twice, and moving the hand forward for million, and 3 times for billion. I've also seen where you do a T for 1,000, an M for million, and then a B for billion. But any of those ways are correct. You just kind of have to adopt which one you like the best and just go with it. So on your handouts, there are some other ones as well that are not maybe particularly listed on our list of words. And the ones we have are a couple fractions. So just to know how to do fractions is you've got your number, your numerator, and then your denominator. So you've got 1/4, and all you're doing is moving them down. And if you've got 3/4, you're going to do a 3 and then a 4. If you've got a half, 1/2. If you got 1/8, 1 and then an 8. So you get the idea. Then we've got other ones that I believe are on our list. So we're going to go back and stick to our list. All right, so our first word is birthday. Well, it's not the first word. Well, it's the first word after all of our numbers. So there are 2 different ways to do birthday. The way I learned was you put your hand out like you're going to catch something because you're going to like catch the baby. So it's birth. There's different ways you can do birth, but this is the way I prefer. Put your hand on your stomach, and then you just place your hand in the other hand. So birth. And remember we've said you can do day simply like that, or you can use a D. So birthday, that's how I do birthday, is birth with a D. The other way I've seen is the number 25 hand at your chin, and you tap your chin and then the top of your chest, birthday, with that middle finger, birthday. This is the sign for favorite, and it's also the sign for taste. I don't know what this sign is. I have never seen this sign. This is feel, when you're moving your finger up, feel, but just this, I don't know what that is. So I don't understand why this is the sign for birthday. I don't know where it's come from. I don't know if it's a sign that's done in another state somewhere, but I've just started seeing that in the past, 5 years, 10 years or something like that. But I really don't understand the significance there, whereas this to me makes more sense. It's a birthday because you were born on a particular day. So go with whichever one you feel comfortable with. So we'll start with some colors because we're going in alphabetical order. So for black, you've got your number 1 hand, and you're going straight across your forehead. Black, black, black. Okay, so we got black. Then we have blue. A lot of colors you simply shake over here. So you're going to take the letter B and you're going to shake it. That's blue. So you got black, blue, and then we have brown. I'm going to slide this up here so I can see it easier, so I'm not going to turn so much. All right, brown. Brown is simply going down your cheek with the letter B. Brown, brown. Sense, not how much sense do you have when you're trying to figure something out, but how much sense, C-E-N-T-S, do you have in your pocket? Cents. So if you have 25 cents, you're going to point to your forehead and then go out 25. If you have just 1 penny, you're going to point to your forehead and you're going to go 1. If you have 2 cents, if you have 55 cents, you're going to do 55. Now you would think you would go 55 and then cents, but like I think I've shared before, with sign language and a lot of foreign languages, what you do first is you put the thing you're talking about first, and then you describe it. So you don't say red ball. you say ball red, because you have to tell what it is first before you describe it. Okay, so same thing, since 55. So in other words, I have since 55. Okay, so you just kind of have to think differently. If you are talking about coins, that you have some coins in your pocket, you are simply going to draw circles, a little circle on your hand. That's for a right-hander. Left-hander, of course, you're going to do with the opposite hand. All right. The word color. Color, you just have your hand at your chin, number 5 hand, and flickering your fingers. My pinky doesn't seem to want to flicker with color, but that's okay. So color. And this is if you're going to color something or what the color of something is. Either way, verb or adjective, it's the same sign, color. Then you have count. If you're going to count something, you put your hand out, and your hand that does the motion, does the movement, is like a number 9. Yes, wanted to make sure it wasn't an F. It's a number 9. And you just go down your hand. You're going to count. So if you were telling your children to count to 10, you're going to tell them count to 10. Count. And you can put the word 2 in there if you want to. 10. Or you can spell it 2, 10. All right, then you've got dollar. Okay, so you've got dollar. So you have your hand facing you, and the other hand is going to make like kind of a G shape that involves all of your fingers. And you're going to simply put them on top of your hand. And you're going to go out. So you're starting here at your thumb. And you're going out. And you're just following right along. Dollar. It's almost like this is your wallet, you know, and you're showing that there is something in there, or you're putting a crease in the dollar. Something, you know, something like that. So dollar. And then I put some other things on here like 8 cents, just because I think those are some examples that are in your handouts. And then favorite. Favorite. Like I said, this is a sign for favorite and taste. And I threw favorite in there because it kind of goes along with color. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite number? You know, favorite. First. There's 2 different ways you can do first. First, so all you're doing is you're flicking your hand towards you, or you can do first. And you can do that 2 ways. Tap your thumb. So you got letter A, towards you, and you tap your thumb with your index finger, or you can do first. Either one is right. In your handouts, they show first. I always like to go back and make sure I'm showing you what you're seeing in your handouts. And then I also like to share what way I've learned. $5. So you would actually do dollar, and then you would do 5. But just so you know, $5. Okay. Then we have gift and present. Okay. I don't think I have all of my handouts with me, but that's okay. So you've got gift. And I've seen it 2 different ways. Seems like it's this one. That's gift. And all you're doing is the letter X at yourself. And it's like you're handing it to the person. I think this is give. Give. And the way I think about it is a gift you can just hand. But if you've got a big something to give, I think that is correct. So then you've got gold. So let me flip over to my colors to make sure I'm showing you correctly. I don't want to show anybody incorrectly, and I'm not seeing all of my colors. But anyways, so you've got gold. Point to your ear, gold. Or it might be this way. This is why I need my notes, because I'm not remembering if you point to the ear and do it. I think that might be California. I think this one is gold. If you imagine that you've got gold earrings, you're taking that 25 hand and you're just flickering it down as you pull it away. So gold. All right, then we have gray. Now this was an interesting one because I learned gray with a G going across the forehead. But the actual way to do gray that I'm learning now is what you're doing is you are taking the hands and moving them back and forth like you're mixing. If you pretend you've got some black paint up here and you got some white paint back here towards you and you're mixing them together and you're making gray. Never learned that sign. So I'm learning some signs along with y'all because like I said, I learned gray, a G across the forehead. And then you've got how much. So we've learned the sign how. All right, so how much. And all you're doing is you're flicking all your fingers out and up. How much? How much? All right, and that's also, so how much? I think I'm telling you wrong. Okay, how many and then how much? I was getting confused. Sorry about that. So how many and then how much? Like a lot. Okay, so like how a lot is kind of like what that sign truly is translating to. Money. Money, you put your hand out, put all your fingers together, you're going to turn it towards you. Money. Okay, so your hand is laying flat. Your fingers, like I said, are all touching each other, and you're just tapping it on the palm of your hand. Money. 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 Number, all you're doing is you've got like a zero, but all your fingers are flat. You're going to put them together, and you're going to twist them. Okay, but you're going to put them together. Twist, twist, twist. Number. And you don't have to do it a lot of times. Like if you wanted to say, what's your number? What's your number? Just 2 times. Doop, doop. That's all you got to do. All right, old. Old, if you can imagine, a lot of old men have long white beards. So you're simply going to grab at your chin and pull down. Old. And I would say, you can do it this way. You can simply just put it at your chin and pull down as well. Old. Old. Okay? Once. Once. So all you're doing is at the palm, you're taking a number 1, and you're flicking your finger up towards the ceiling once. 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 So remember that because we'll come back to twice. $1. $1. $1. Okay. All right, then we get into a color, orange. And this is orange, whether you're talking about the fruit or the color. So all you're doing is you're squeezing like this at your chin. You're not actually going to squeeze your chin, but you're just squeezing at your chin. Just pretend like you're gently squeezing an orange. It's orange. All right, then we have penny. Point to your head, and 1. All right. Pink. Pink. No, I'm telling you wrong. Pink is with a P. See, I keep questioning myself because of my signing exact English background. So you're going to take your letter P, and your middle finger is going to touch it. I was showing you red. Sorry. Pink. 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 Then we have purple. So you got your P again, and you're going to shake it. Purple. Which can be confusing with, you remember, potty, and can be confusing with party. But just one that you're shaking is purple. Purple. All right. And there again, the word will be understood because it's in the context that you're talking. All right. And then you got red. Save. Now, if you're talking about saving money, you're going to save money. Okay. You just have that fist pointing towards you. Save. If you're left-handed, you've got your right hand pointing towards you, and your left hand is doing the tapping of the 2. Now, if you're talking about that Jesus saved you, or that you are saved as far as Christianity, you take your 2 S's and you go out. Saved. Saved. It's also the sign for safe. Either one. Saved, safe. Okay? All right, then we have silver. I've learned silver, taking an S and pulling it down. Silver. Tan. Just like we have brown with the B, you got tan with the T. Then we have white. So if you can imagine that you have color on your shirt, and if you could magically just pull all of the color off, what you're doing is you're doing the and sign. Remember how we've said that's like closing a shower curtain or closing a sliding door? Same kind of thing, but your fingers are kind of open, and then you're pulling it off. Kind of hard to show that one. All right, so we'll show it from this way. White. It's kind of like you're just gently touching your shirt, and then you're pulling towards you. It's kind of like you're going like that. Going from like kind of like a claw hand a little bit back to all the fingers touching. But you're doing it on your shirt. All right, so that one's white. All right, which. Now this is not which like the witch for Halloween. I'll show you that in a minute. This is which like which one? You know, you can say like, is your favorite color red or pink? Which one? Which one? Now, which for a Halloween is an X on the nose, and then it touches the other X. A witch. Which. Years. So if you wanted to say, how many years will it take? I don't know. I couldn't think of another thing to say. So years. So you're taking two S's, stacking them on top of each other, and the one that does your motion is the one that goes around the other one. So the reasoning is here's the sun, correct? One goes around the other one, right? I never remember which one goes around the other one. Anyways, years. And if you're doing left hand, your left hand is going to be on top and it goes around. It goes around. All right. If you're talking about every year, you don't have to do every. You can just point. You're just doing like, almost like you're doing an 11, but you have your hand rested, your fist rested on top of the other fist. That's every year. Every year. Every year. Last year, these are not in your handouts, I'm sorry. So your fists are on top of each other, and you're doing that 11 back away from you. Last year. And then yellow, and that is the last color I have. So if we go through the whole rainbow, you have pink, red, orange, yellow, green. Don't remember having green. We did have green. I don't remember doing green. But anyways, if we did not, here is green. Green, blue, purple, and then the colors that are not in the rainbow, you have black, brown, tan, white, gold, and silver. Or silver and gold. All right. So we have sentences. We have which color do you like? Which color do, not do, see I was going to do it. Which color do you like? All right. What number do you like? What number do you like? Why do we color mad things red? So why do we color mad things? I don't believe we've done things. So if we have not, you can spell it. And then you can move on to the next word, red. Do your guy friends like pink? Do your guy, men, friends like pink? Pink. My friend does not like green, gray, and blue. My friend does not like or does not like green, gray, and blue. Can you name all the colors? Can you name all or all the colors? I do not want to be black and blue. I do not want or do not want to be black and blue or black and blue. I've already said that one. I like oranges. Do you? I like oranges. Do you? My school colors were purple and white. Turn my camera back on. My school colors were purple and white, but then they were black and gray. But I don't think we know then. Then they were black and I want to do gray. Gray. So very hard to change. I like white cars and some orange and yellow. I like white cars, or I learned cars, where two C's are on top of each other, cars, and some, or some. It's like you're cutting some. You're just kind of drawing a curved line on your hand. Some. Some orange and yellow. Do you like making money? Do you like making money? All right, I will see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us.